One of the great challenges we have when things are falling apart is that there is a tendency to desperately want to know what's going to happen, to want to know what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to other people, what's going to happen to our world, what's going to happen to the economy. You know, you know, some of us are staying home and we're starting to feel more agitated. Oh, what does it mean that I'm agitated? I don't know. We want to make meaning. We want to understand what's happening. It's one of our most basic human drives. And the desire to understand is good, but it can be, it can really find its limits at a moment like this, when, let's face it, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, can you think of a time in your life when you knew less about what was going to happen than this time? We don't know whether we're going to be in our houses for a few weeks, months, half the year. We don't know whether the pandemic's going to slow down a lot, whether it's just going to whether it's going to keep accelerating because not enough people are doing social distancing. Like it's so in the unknown. The jobless rate, there are just so many things every day. And, and we're all kind of very much trying to know. Now, one of the profound qualities of spiritual awakening is that it liberates us from our attachment to knowing. It liberates us from the need for certainty. It enables us to live in the unknown and to be comfortable in the unknown. In general, human beings are not comfortable in the unknown, are we? No, we're not. In general, human beings, crave certainty. It's what gives us power, right? We feel, to the degree that we can know and predict what's going to happen, we feel like we have control. We have power. We're going to be able to know what to do, when and how, and know how to be, know how to relate to things. But spiritual awakening opens us to a mystery beyond the mind, and it reveals to us a way of living where we actually start to discover that not knowing is a more powerful place than knowing. We start to discover that when we're able to suspend our need for certainty, our grasping after answers, that we become receptive and able to attune in a way that our mind, to a kind of knowing and a kind of wisdom capacity that our minds could never grasp, that our minds have no access to. We start to learn that letting go of the need to know, living in the unknown, actually enables us to see things more clearly. It enables us to be in relationship to reality as it is, not as our minds think it should be or want it to be or are trying to force it to be. So if you've had an experience of spiritual awakening of any kind, you probably notice this just relaxing of the grasping after knowledge. If you've encountered an awakened human being, you were probably surprised at the kind of natural humility and innocence they seem to have, just a kind of what Suzuki Roshi called a beginner's mind. You approach each moment with a beginner's mind, a mind that isn't grasping on, isn't trying to know, and in that is really available for the moment. So this capacity to not need to know, to be comfortable in the unknown, is one of the, I think, most powerful capacities we can access as human beings to deal with a time of so much uncertainty, and to start to find a way to not just sort of, when I say deal with, it's almost kind of like, okay, I'm just going to make it through. But if you get the gist of what I'm saying, this ability to really live into the unknown fearlessly is what can enable us to actually thrive in a moment when things aren't certain. to be powerful and strong and clear and creative and meet and wise, meet moments with wisdom, not reactive thinking. So the good news is we don't have to wait for enlightenment to bestow upon us this willingness to live in the unknown. It's something we can practice. And the perhaps easiest way to practice it is in meditation. Because when you sit still in meditation, you don't have to know anything. There's no requirement to know anything. You're just sitting there. And you can begin to relax your grip on the mind, or the mind's grip on you, depending how you want to look at it. So I want to invite us now. The meditations we're going to do here will be short, just a few minutes. But I want to invite us now to just settle into meditation. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. If you have them open, though, I wouldn't recommend looking at me. Just look down at the floor or the wall and just let your gaze become unfocused and soft, resting in one place. And in this moment, just allow yourself to not need to know anything at all. Just let go of the need to know anything. Give yourself the freedom to have no idea. No idea about this pandemic. No idea how you're going to deal with it. No idea what its impact's going to be. Just to let all of that go. Let go of any idea what meditation's supposed to feel like, or whether you're doing this practice right, or what it's supposed to make happen. Just let yourself be at ease in the unknown. As you're doing this practice, your mind may continue trying to know things. There's a lot of momentum to grasping onto knowledge inside each of us, and that momentum doesn't stop instantly. But it's okay. Notice that even though your mind might try to know something, you don't have to participate in that knowing. You see what the mind does is it presents theories about things. Oh, I think the meditation's working. Oh, I don't think the meditation's working. I think I'm too emotionally upset to meditate. Oh, I think I'm having an experience of something. Should I really be doing this today, right now? The mind's, asks questions, presents theories. But in doing this practice, you don't have to participate in that. You can just, every theory your mind puts up, every story your mind tries to tell, you just don't know. I don't know if any of that's true. I don't need to know. I'm not trying to know. I'm not looking for answers right now. I'm looking for that which is beyond the answers, that which is beyond the mind. So you just keep resting in the unknown, not needing to know. Now go ahead and begin to let go of the meditation practice, but just allow the essence of it, the fragrance of it, the momentum of it to just ripple on in your consciousness as we continue with the workshop. Let the seed of not knowing, this freedom from the known, just continue to germinate inside you. So how can we bring not knowing out of meditation and into our lives? Well, there are a lot of answers to that question, right? One thing we can do, and this now is moving into the category of what I call awakened life practices. We have meditation practices related to each of these inner postures, practice modalities. And we also have awakened life practices. It's how do I live an awakened life? How do I practice being innocent, being comfortable with the unknown as I go through my day? So there are simple things like observing your own need to know as it comes up, the ways that you rush to judgment, the ways that you want to assert some new knowledge that you think you have because it's giving you a sense of security to know something. To just right now at this time with so much insecurity in our lives, it's a great time to practice this because we have so many opportunities to challenge this part of us that's just desperately grasping on to know something about what's going on and what's going to happen. So you're not trying to make that part of you wrong. You're not judging it. You're not trying to shut it down even. Practice is, what if I don't need to know that? Do I really know this thing? What's observing? Where's this coming from? You'll notice it's coming from some insecurity. Can I just be okay with the insecurity? Can I just make room for the feelings that are driving this need to know? And again, this isn't about not knowing anything in life. Life, we can only live a life by knowing things. You couldn't really get out of bed. You certainly couldn't cook a meal if you didn't know something. So it's not about a radical rejection of the mind or a rejection of knowing. This is all about a transformation of in relation to our need to know. There's an emotional need to know that we're learning to become awake to, and then not be driven by it, to not be driven by it. So run your own experiments with awakened life practice. When you see yourself trying to know, see if you let go of the need to know. In other words, just you're moving toward innocence, openness, and receptivity, and away from or out of fear-driven grasping for certainty. There's a positive movement we can make toward, I don't know. This is, and there's a spirit of it, which is, this is an amazing time we're in. For the first time, there are fundamental elements of our lives that we've always taken for granted would be there that are just gone. I can't go to a restaurant to get some food. I can't be sure that if I got really sick, I could get into the hospital. I don't know what's going to happen with my finances. I don't know if my loved ones are going to be okay. There's so much unknown. So the opportunity for us to be the ones who can hold the unknown of this moment for ourselves and for everyone around us. When everyone else is scrambling to know, we can be the voice that says, wow, what an insecure moment. We don't know the answer to that. We'd like to know, but we can't know. So there's openness, innocence, receptivity, and interest. So see, not knowing and not needing to know doesn't mean we aren't interested in what we might discover. It just means we're not holding on, we're not grasping on.